This is the Hot 7 Nightly News.
Good evening. It is Tuesday, March 19th, 2024. I am Daniela Edwin. Welcome to the Hot 7 TV Nightly News. We are on Flow Channel 117, Kiss FM, the Caribbean Hot FM mobile app, and the Caribbean Hot 7 TV Facebook page. Not forgetting those of you using the Hot 7 plug and play antenna, thank you so much for joining us. In a significant development during the March 19th sitting of Parliament, former Prime Minister Kenny Anthony was officially appointed as Deputy Speaker of the House by the PA administration. This appointment follows the resignation of MP for Mico North, Jeremiah Norbert, from the role to facilitate his appointment as Minister for Crime Prevention and Persons with Disabilities. Prime Minister Philip Pierre had previously hinted at the appointment of a Deputy Speaker, aligning with a campaign promise made by the government.
Mr. Speaker, it's my honor and my privilege to nominate Dr. Kenny Davis Anthony as Deputy Speaker.
A familiar face will now assume the position of Deputy Speaker of the House of Parliament following the appointment of Dr. Kenny Anthony. Nominated by Prime Minister Philip Pierre, the former Prime Minister replaces MP for Mico North Jeremiah Norbert in the role following his appointment as Minister for Crime Prevention and Persons with Disabilities. Dr. Anthony brings a wealth of veteran leadership to his new role. With over 2 decades of parliamentary representation and a profession in law, the MP for Viewford South will preside over parliamentary sittings in the absence of Speaker Claudius Francis. Prior to his appointment, there had been queries about whether the Deputy Speaker would be chosen from outside the chamber, raising concerns in opposition circles. However, given Dr. Anthony's standing as a parliamentary representative, he was elected unopposed to his new role. Prime Minister Philip Pierre underscored the significance of this appointment, affirming his government's commitment to fulfilling promises made to the people of Saint Lucia.
This House was run for nearly 6 years without a Deputy Speaker. And if you look at the Constitution, it says when it's convenient, and then the Deputy Speaker will be appointed. The former government never found it right to select a Deputy Speaker. But we said to the people of Saint Lucia, we are going to have a Deputy Speaker and we're going to have a Deputy Speaker. That is our contract with the people of Saint Lucia, to obey the Constitution, not to be convenient.
Reporting for the Hot 7 TV News, I am Quinn Seshis.
Several local stakeholders in the cannabis industry have come together with regional counterparts in the hopes of synchronizing sector laws and regulations throughout the region. The 2-day symposium is being spearheaded by the Ministry of Commerce and will serve not only as a medium for the exchange of ideas, but also for the formation of a regional body to deal with industry business on the global front.
With the decriminalization of marijuana in 2021, the government of Saint Lucia is on the path to find ways to reap economic benefits from the widely used plant. To this end, the Cannabis Task Force was convened to formulate a regulatory framework for the budding industry. 2 years and a draft policy later, the Ministry of Commerce, under whose purview the sector falls, has decided to engage with regional partners on the way forward for the cannabis industry and learn how to traverse its inherent challenges. According to Commerce Minister Emma Hippolyte, due to emerging global trends, it was necessary to formulate a single regional policy to govern the cannabis industry.
This morning we are at Sandals Grand, and this is the start of a 2-day symposium on cannabis. As you know, the government of St. Lucia intends to start a cannabis industry. The responsibility rests with the Ministry of Commerce to bring it to birth. We've had significant conversation. We've been working for about 2 years now, and before that, different persons have contributed to where we are today. But now we want to really bring the thing together. We've had significant consultation. We've had draft legislation. Now we felt going forward, based on what is happening globally, that we should start speaking to our regional partners.
Several local and regional stakeholders were represented at the symposium, which aimed to ensure that every voice was heard.
We have the CEOs and the key movers in the cannabis authorities throughout the UECS and the Caribbean, and they're there today to sit down, discuss. We also have our key local stakeholders, persons that really will help us bring the industry to birth. So you see, we have persons from the Rastafarian movement, we have Christian Council, we have the CMO representing the medical fraternity.
According to the minister, her ministry aims to ensure that the final version of the cannabis legislation leaves no stone unturned and is beneficial to all stakeholders.
What we want to do is to ensure that we have significant conversation and know what is happening in the region, look at the global trends, and ensure that the bill that we're bringing into Parliament addresses social issues, economic issues, and is all-encompassing.
Reporting for the Hot 7 TV News, I am Eldridge Charles.
Andre De Caires, the man behind the cannabis movement, says he is elated that the plant is finally getting the attention it deserves. De Caires and his cannabis movement waged a decades-long advocacy for the legalization of marijuana, joining the Rastafarian community in the struggle. The group had also been calling for the exploration of a hemp sector on the island to replace the dying banana industry. Eldridge Charles tells us more.
For many years, the use of marijuana has been looked down upon in Saint Lucian society, with ganja being placed on the list of illegal and illicit drugs. Several members of the Rastafarian community who use the plant in religious rites and for recreation have been arrested and charged for being in possession of marijuana, some serving jail time and even being brutalized by law enforcement for having even minute amounts. As far back as the 1990s, Andre De Caires, an agriculturist who was searching for ways of diversifying the industry, has been an outspoken advocate for the legalization of the cannabis plant for industrial uses. De Caires and his cannabis movement has spearheaded the push for the industrialization of the hemp plant, a plant of the cannabis family used to make clothing, rope, and the like. After decades of advocacy, De Caires got his wish. Cannabis has been decriminalized, and the government is taking a serious look into the formulation of a cannabis industry. This, he says, is a very gratifying achievement.
It's gratifying to see that eventually conservative minds have realized that it's something that we need to do. A lot of people have been demonized and brutalized and unfairly jailed and sometimes murdered because of their association with cannabis. The ghetto youth, the Rastaman, ganja people in general who were just in possession of flowers. And so now we realize there is some retribution to take place. And hopefully that these people will now not be demonized any longer. And the laws have to change. They were unfair and draconian laws in the first place.
While he believes in freedom of choice, De Caires says protecting the vulnerable and the youth from early initiation should be prioritized in the push to reap the economic benefits that can be derived from the industry.
It's time for people to bury the hatchet, stop the hatred of ganja people, and realize that it's part of our culture and we have to accept it. Obviously, public smoking and underage consumption is something we need to really address, and hopefully a strong national educational program would dissuade early initiation, and you know, we want to reap the economic benefits while protecting the vulnerable people.
Reporting for the Hot 7 TV News, I am Eldridge Charles.
Still in the first segment of the broadcast, the POV. Our question is, what do you believe are some of the benefits of the legalization of cannabis? Here is your point of view.
I know for a long time, it's always like a criminal act to involve, because I remember people used to have a joint and $500 is making pay at the court. But it's not one thing alone it does with marijuana, cannabis. You have different things doing it. You could make clothes, bags, shoes, all different things, belts and different things. People just use it to smoke alone, but it's not smoking alone. And I know anytime the government involved, they must have a benefit, because all now so they know the benefit out of it. Maybe the way some people using it, just smoke whole day. Those things that make sense, but the government know about it, and now they know that's the only tree now you could make money out of it. And especially you could make oil or all different things. Even oil you could make out of it. So I know a lot of people will get benefit. And the thing is that we will not plant it the way we think we will plant it. We'll get license and different things. It's time for government to target and show people that not to discriminate marijuana, but just have it there, that everybody will get a profit out of it.
Better you legalize the marijuana instead of the cocaine, because the cocaine is killing us, killing the fellas that smoking it and making them do bad things around. And the best thing for them to do is legalize it.
But I don't think it have any benefit. The cannabis always there. Fellas always smoking it. I don't see the reason why people really fighting it down. It's always there. I don't know if it has any benefit to those that using it, but to me there's no benefit.
I would say that marijuana is a wonder herb, meaning it's like a super. The benefits, marijuana has a lot of medical benefits in the sense that it could be used for recreation and healing purposes. And I think if they legalize it, it would be good. In the sense that it would benefit the population, it would benefit people, it would think, but the main thing is that you have to make sure the planters get the real, get what's for them. You understand? But marijuana is a wonder herb. It's one of the best, it's the most versatile plant on the planet. Meaning it can be used to make clothing, medicine, everything.
Well, first the government will collect their taxes. Plus, the young men go be hiding everywhere, all corners, selling where they'll get a permit if that's possible, and then they could sell it legally. Understand? That's some of the benefits, and benefits are getting dollars. That bring a lot of money in the economy, so there are many benefits.
I believe in this particular drug, cannabis. It can be legalized, but to be used for medicinal purposes, and of course, in moderate use. There are parties or persons would, of course, upgrade its use, whereby they may use it as a form of drug trafficking, or probably in its use, the overuse in terms of its an overdose of such. But again, it's a natural herb, and of course, it can be used for medicinal purposes, maybe in the treatment of asthma or some other related medical conditions. But all a matter of the kind of use, because many persons, instead of it being used, they misuse and abuse anything, whether it be drugs, alcohol, or so. So therefore, if the governments, and by extension the rich in the world, use this particular drug, they most likely would be. I can't pinpoint exactly what benefits there would be, but I'm pretty sure that there are.
Marijuana have a lot of benefits. For instance, you can do oils out of marijuana, you can do thread, clothes, you know. Marijuana can create jobs, and that's one of the things they've been fighting for, you know. We talking about marijuana sending people crazy. No doctor never say marijuana sending anyone crazy. If you're not strong enough to use your mind, or probably you want to think too much, probably you can, but marijuana have no, I would say, side effects about it too, but it can create a lot of jobs in the economy. We can ship it to a lot of countries for medical purposes, so these things like that we need to take serious when it's talking about not just decriminalize marijuana, but they should have legalized it for purposes like, because we have a lot of young farmers on the island that they can put to work. A lot of young ladies are just making children around castries. A lot of probably the youngsters that, killing people can get something very interesting to do, and go in their farm, plant a few trees and get $1 for it instead of, getting a gun and going and do something else.
If you would like to share your point of view on trending issues in the news, you can catch our reporters at a location near you or head over to our Facebook and Instagram pages at Caribbean Hot 7 TV. Coming up next, Vendors Association President against new CCC committee, and one musician promotes positive lyrics with new release. Stay tuned for the details to these stories and much more when the podcast returns.